Hey, what up, Street Talks? Eric Kim from the Eric Kim Street Photography blog. So, just gonna stream with you some other rando practical thoughts. So, this one is regarding images. So, actually the interesting thing is, growing up, I love to read books. Reading as a child was one of my passions. But even now, I'm very selective with my reading matter. Almost all modern books I don't like. It's funny, for a guy who reads a lot of books, I actually think that a lot of books are overrated. So what do I mean by that? Let me explain. So I generally think that the best books are the really old school ones. I prefer the Greek or the Roman. And even the Romans kind of compromise a bit. I prefer the Greeks. So I love reading, my favorite books of all time is probably the Iliad. I quite like the Penguin translation, which is pretty good. I pretty much love all the books by Nietzsche. It's fantastic. I really like almost all the books I like all the books by Nassim Taleb. He's the only good modern author in my opinion, somebody who doesn't compromise and somebody who's not boring. He's good. I like philosophy, so any of the pre-Socratic philosophers, Heraclitus and so forth are good. And who else do I like? I think I like, or let me just kind of list them. So I like Marcus Aurelius, I like Seneca, Epictetus, Epicurus. I like the Stoic authors. That helped me a lot with my mental training. I like Diogenes. I like reading Plutarch, his essays on his favorite heroes. I like reading the stories on the triumphs of Alexander the Great, his life story. And I like the Walter Isaacson biography on Steve Jobs. I thought that was excellent. And essentially what I'm really interested in is, I'm really interested in the lives, the morals, the behaviors, the thoughts of great individuals in history, and people that I admire, and people I aspire towards. So, ultimately, the reason why I read books is that I don't want to just read books for the sake of reading books to become smart or whatever, and not even to become wise, because I think wisdom is kind of I think that's not 100% accurate, because who's to say somebody is wise who's not? Wisdom is all subjective, right? So I believe in personal wisdom, things, wisdom and thoughts which have personal utility for you, but there's no such thing as ultimate wisdom. I kind of prefer courage. I think courage is more interesting because courage is actually something you can control. Even when I'm at the gym, deadlifting or whatever, that requires courage. When I want to share my thoughts or not censor myself in front of others, that takes courage. In social life, almost like street photography, it's all about courage. So courage, it's all about courage. So anything I read that augments my feeling of courage is good. So Nassim Taleb is the best because the dude has insane amounts of courage. Nietzsche is great. He also exhibits a lot of courage in his writing. And actually even just a lot of these courageous people in history didn't write about their courageousness, but had historians write about them. And these historians who write about heroes with great courage, or even just reading Homer and the Iliad, just kind of these mythological notions of courage, to me is quite interesting. And what is the world lacking? Is lacking courage. What does the world have too much of is discouragement. And that's why I actually really don't like the modern world with fear marketing and stuff like that, because it's effective and it makes money, but it essentially stunts the growth of humanity, which I don't like. So read books which make you feel more powerful. And it's funny too, because we use the word empowerment, but I'm gonna stop using that word because it's a little bit too fluffy, because it isn't really I want to be more direct, more power, right? Read books that make you feel more powerful, that make you feel more courageous, more brave, to do more, to attempt more, to become more, to be more brave, to use your courage, to use your heart, to attempt great things, to stream your thoughts, your ideas, and your strength, to not censor yourself, and know that ultimately you have greatness within yourself, and it just comes down to courage.